by Phyllis doing healing meditation and offering us her talk today. Oh, what a blessing to be here. Let's close our eyes for a short but loving healing meditation. Let us breathe into the top of our heads, the crown. And from the crown, follow a trail of an infinity loop that reaches down to the bottom of your feet and back up, swirling up through your body, again to the crown and back again. Breathe into that infinity loop, and within yourself knowing where you need attention, where healing is calling, where pain is disrupting your awareness, your focus, where confusion seems to resist resolution. To every place from brain to toes, let that infinity loop smoothly flow and touch each of those places of most concern to you. This infinity loop is a statement of God's ever-present energy that moves through us and is all the more effective as we are intentional to it. That focus, that intention, expands our consciousness and marries with the rest of the universe that knows us so well and brings us all of that we need to any area of concern. Let us breathe into that infinity loop for a moment. And now, breathing in that energy of the infinity loop, feel it vibrating and expanding to our congregation, to every person in diversity and unity, every person in service and in need of care. Let that infinity loop move wildly and lovingly and excitedly to every person, and then breathe it out to our universe. Breathe into it and out into the universe, knowing that we are encompassing all the wisdom of the universe in which we are created and which we serve. inevitably in our learning and growing, and let that energy then swirl back to you from that extraordinary universe in which we thrive. Take just another moment to continue looping that infinity loop wherever it is needed, wherever you are inspired, wherever you need it, and wherever it may be needed otherwise. Indeed, we are blessed. Indeed, we are loved. And indeed, the love we have, each of us, expands to every other being, for all things are connected. And that's our theme for our talk today. All things are connected. And do you feel it? That vibration is so extraordinary. That vibration of love and service and being served. Let's not forget that we need to be served every bit as much, more actually, than we need to serve others, because it is in that service to ourselves and remembering that we need to ask, how does this serve me? How do I serve myself? That we have the extraordinary energy to share with everybody else. It's amazing. It's an infinity loop. It starts here, I serve here, and it loops out and it comes back. It's a marvelous thing. I'm going to depart a little bit from my usual to share a story with you that's been particularly meaningful to me throughout my life, and I never would have thought it at the time. I'm going back to 1963. I'm married to a man who's in the Coast Guard, and he's deployed at that time, and so I am living with his mother and his younger brother and sister. And I have a child who is just a month old. It's January, and my mother-in-law, we always called her Bert. Her name was Bertha, Bert, and her husband's name was Mac. I loved him. We were sitting at the dining room table waiting for him to die. He was in the hospital. She didn't want to go to the hospital. She was not a loving person. She didn't know how to express emotion. She had been raised in agony, and she expressed it in most of the ways of her life. And so I was surprised that she wanted me to sit with her while we waited for the phone to ring, which it eventually did, but not until we'd had a very long talk. She told me things about herself I never would have guessed. And then she said, I trust you. I thought, oh my goodness, now what's coming? I trust you to be that person when I die who takes care of my ashes. And I thought, miracles are going to happen here. And at that time, I didn't have a whole lot of connection with my faith, with all the masters who have so lovingly attended me over these 39 years. I had no idea. But she said, I need you then to take my ashes to Days High Landing. Now, we were living in Deer River and then Grand Rapids, and Days High Landing was a place, a little resort area that was right on the Mississippi, and she wanted me to take her ashes to Days High Landing Bridge and dump her ashes over the bridge. Her point was she wanted her ashes to go down to the point where she and her husband had owned land on the Mississippi, and she wanted her ashes to land on the point that she loved. I promised, 15 years passed. A I won't go into the rest of that story, but to say that when her ashes arrived in the mail one day, my husband, soon to be my former husband, because we were in the middle of a divorce, arrived home, and I said, "Your mother arrived in the mail today." And he said, "Okay, now what?" I mean, they were not close. I said, "Well, she trusted me to take them to Dayside Landing." And he said, "Okay." So we packed the kids in the car, and off we drove from Bemidji to Deer River and to the Mississippi to Dayside Landing, and we dumped her ashes over the bridge. This is a statement of intention and how no matter who you are or what you look like to other people, if you love and have intention, which she did, she had love for nature. She loved everything about her life on the Mississippi. Well, we won't go into all that. Anyway, her ashes caught in an eddy. We could see them in the river. Her ashes caught in an eddy and went trailing off exactly to the point, which was about 150 yards down the river, and caught at the point. I was out of breath. I thought, how does a person who lives the way she has lived get her wish fulfilled? Well, now we know, of course. You have intention, you have a strong faith in nature, and it all works. We are all connected. It's all connected. She was connected to that land. Her ashes are now connected in that land, and forever she leaves me with the memory of learning how not to judge other people for how they appear to be or how they act in the world. Because she had never liked me. She didn't like any woman. It was quite a story. Anyway, all things being connected. And then as I was thinking about this part of the message, I remembered a radio show. Paul Harvey had a radio show. I don't know if you ever got it up here, did you? Called The Rest of the Story. I loved that show. I would do anything, miss anything else to listen to that show. And one day he told a story about a man in England who was calling a friend, and he misdialed. And he got somebody answering the phone in Australia. And they thought that was just amazing, that he was calling somebody else and he got Australia. He couldn't have been more shocked. And as they talked, they realized they had things in common. And then they realized they were brothers who had been estranged for more than 40 years. All things are connected. You have your own experiences of being somewhere you never expected to be and seeing somebody standing next to you that you'd known years ago. I had that, I relived that experience this week when we lost a class member. I was working in Seattle and I was waiting on a corner for a bus, and I realized a tall person was standing next to me, and it was a classmate from Deer River. She just passed this past week, and I thank her for that delicious memory. It is such a statement of how we're all connected, how everything is connected. I had a client, a couple who were clients, and she passed from cancer, and then he developed leukemia eventually. But whenever he called me for a session, a cardinal would land in the evergreen just off my deck. They are visitors for us from Spirit. All things are connected. I love all of the congratulations and the loving messages that have been stated here this morning. So what I'm going to say is somewhat redundant, but I want to say to all of you, whatever your service, and so many here have offered their service over the years, and however we have served, it has been a blessing. We know what we learn from it. It isn't just that we give, but something comes back to us. If not directly, then certainly it will. We are so connected, and as we experience the infinity loop, I wanted to just refer to that to say, not only are we connected, but the energy that we share is what causes this church to thrive. And the more we share, the more service we do, however small it may seem to us, it contributes to the whole and it binds us together. And it gives us that strength that moves us forward. It's a delicious moving forward. We are doing amazing things considering how small a congregation we seem to be. But when I look at this congregation today, all I see is more pews filled and more excitement about being part of this community and about offering service. Let us all, for a moment, just hold in our hearts the energy of service in gratitude to everyone who has served over the years, everyone who has given of themselves, and all of the energy that causes this church to blossom. Oh, as I said the word blossom, I remember all the flowers that Jerry has brought over the years to place in front of the podium. They're so beautiful. And he would always send one home with me. So all of those ways in which we have served with full hearts, with gratitude, and with the conviction that we grow, that we thrive, and that we serve a larger community and our planet every time we open our hearts and raise a hand to give. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Carol, I need to do some more announcements. So, would two people please bring forward the baskets for our offerings? I was listening to Phyllis, I really was, but my brain was busy. So here are some more announcements. Sorry, Phyllis. I just want, since we are rightfully giving thanks to people who have served this year, I want to thank Lisa for all of the time and energy she put in to being our liaison with Unity this past year. I know that that was considerable effort that she put into that, and we will see where it takes us. Wanted to remind you, and I'll get back to that. Thank you, Divine Spirit, for this energy, and we will use it well. Amen. Because of the book sale, there are open tables for you to sit. You may need to grab a chair. And our lunch today requires that you go into the kitchen and use the island. And we've done it before, so we can do it again. Book sale, please buy books. There's nothing expensive. Either Carol or I will be cashiering downstairs. And well, you know, it's just a level after 11:30, so maybe we can be done by 1 o'clock. We'll be here next week as well. With very rare exceptions, there's nothing over $2, so I think maybe you can afford to buy some stuff and take it home. Yes, Christmas presents, reading material, all that good stuff. The board needs to have a 5-minute meeting as soon as we are done because Andy needs to leave for his grandmother's birthday, and that's important. Oh, yay. So we're going to meet right away. How old is Grandma? Uh-oh.
86 this year, I think.
Yay.
Awesome. All right. What's her first name, Andy? Jeannie. Yes. Happy birthday, Jeannie. Tomorrow? All right. And then on a personal note, I would like to ask for some healing prayers from my brother-in-law, Tom, who is 90. Some of you have met him. He's in the hospital in St. Paul where it is chaotic. It took him 2 days to even be admitted. I have no idea what's going on in the Twin Cities, but apparently medical care is chaotic. He's stabilized, and that's what counts. So anyway, prayers, if you would please, for my dear, sweet, joke-telling brother-in-law, Tom. And now, let us join in our circle. We will sing our closing hymn for today. We are joining in our closing of amoebic form today. Phyllis, would you do a benediction for us, please?
In the name of God and all of those who attend us, we offer our gratitude, our respect, our conviction that as we serve, we are never alone. All of them surrounding us now serve us